Welcome to Weedsday Wednesday, Tucson, Arizona's #1 online radio podcast about all things medical cannabis. Your host, Belle
and the Cannabis Kid. Our show features news, interviews, and all the latest information about anything and everything medical cannabis related in Tucson, Arizona, and the world at large.
We'd love to hear from you. Please give us a call live at 646-915-8421. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on all social media, or email thctucson@gmail.com.
We'd like to thank Tumbleweed Health Center and Studio C, along with our many sponsors, for hosting our show every week. With the lowest price certifications in town, you'll find hemp products, accessories, and all things related to medical cannabis education.
Visit Tumbleweed's Health Center at 4826 East Broadway Boulevard or online at tumbleweedshealthcenter.com. And remember,
Be smart,
be safe,
and educate.
All right, welcome to Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. How's everybody doing out there this morning? 81 degrees and beautiful in Tucson, Arizona. Woo! Weedsday Wednesday. Good morning, everybody. How is everybody? I love this one. Zam. And I know you're wondering, how many days until Christmas? 92 days until Christmas. 93 until it's over. All right. Welcome to Weedsday Wednesday. There's a slight pause because it sounds like I started the dishwasher. I don't even want to look around the corner, but you know sometimes how it sounds like something is like leaking all over flooding your floor. It is not. It's all good. It's all groovy. Sorry about that, kids. Lordy B. Whew, the joys of home ownership. Well, whew, Silver Sister will be here shortly. She's back in action somewhere. Traffic of Tucson. You never know what it's going to be when you leave the house. And believe you me, we leave early. And then it don't matter. You can leave as early as you want. But it'll get you the traffic around here. The traffic or the trains. We have a lot of trains that come through here with freight trains probably. I almost said harvest trains. That's right. There's weed on every train that comes through the territory. Just kidding, guys. Don't we wish? All right. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. Where are you? Let's just blog right now. I thought we were live. Now this is weird. It's saying that I'm not live, but I thought I was live. Okay, I'm live, but I thought I was live before, so I don't really know what happened. But we're live. This is Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. Thanks for tuning in with us. I swear to God, I was live earlier. I was just getting ready to say hi on the chat. I did already. So, there you go. Hi again. Funny, I put the exact same amount of eyes as I did the first time, which is, I don't even know how many. I didn't even count them. All right. How's everybody doing out there? Belle Star here. Cannabis Kid is somewhere. And I know you're out there somewhere. And Silver Sister will be here today at some point. We were discussing stupid Tucson traffic. Anyway, we've got a fun show for you today. I've got a little video I'm going to play on migraines and cannabis and how that works, and also some growing advice for how to get bigger plants. So let's just give a huge shout out to Tumbleweeds Health Centers and the Good Leaf at 6224 East Speedway Boulevard. Come on down and get some groovy new hemp and CBD products. We've got CBG, we have CBC, we have CBN for nighttime, CBG for glaucoma, intraocular pressure, pain, inflammation, and the giggles. Just something to make you feel a little happier in life. And I mean, I always say to people, "What's wrong with a little happy?" And they just look at me. They go, "Yeah, what's wrong with a little happy? Nothing. Be happy, damn it." Ah, but if you want to get your medical marijuana card and get things cheaper, here are the conditions that you can do that with. PTSD, you must have records from within the past 12 months from your own current doctor. That is the state of Arizona's health department's guidelines, not ours. Cancer, glaucoma, AIDS, I'm sure you have records for those. Chronic pain, that can be anything from migraines to fibromyalgia, DDD, RA, menstrual cramps, leg cramps, muscle cramps, all the leg pains, all that kind of groovy stuff. Um, and then severe nausea. Chronic. Oh, by the way, chronic means 60 days for the state of Arizona. So that's what that means, 60 days. Severe nausea, seizures, including epilepsy, HIV, Hep C, ALS, Crohn's disease, agitation of Alzheimer's, dementia, all that in between, cachexia, wasting syndrome, and severe and persistent muscle spasms, including multiple sclerosis. And please give a warm Weedsday welcome to Silver Sisters in the house. I like that one. Yeah, and I knew she was going to come in here, and guess what she said? And I said she was going to say, bleep in traffic. I said you would. I said you would. All right, so if you have one of those conditions, it sounds like you have a lot of them. You can get your card. Even if you don't, if you're getting treated for something and they're like causing any of these conditions, you can get your medical cannabis card.
If you suffer from one of these medical conditions and have been diagnosed by an Arizona licensed physician, medical cannabis may help relieve your symptoms. Tumbleweeds Health Center is Arizona's premier cannabis certification, health, and education center. Our primary focus is to help the patients of Arizona obtain their medical marijuana card and educate everyone about medical cannabis. With current medical records, approval is a simple process. Contact Tumbleweeds Health Center to see if you qualify for your Arizona medical marijuana card.
Are chronic conditions holding you back from a happy, healthy life? Get on the right track with Tumbleweeds Health Center. Our CBD products are formulated to fit your health lifestyle.
I would definitely say that CBD has changed my life. I mean, I don't worry about my dog anymore, and I don't worry about sleeping anymore.
Tumbleweeds Health Center, voted #1 health center in Tucson, has created a proprietary number of CBD blends, each designed to promote health and well-being. Let Tumbleweeds Health Center show you how CBD products might help you improve your life the natural way.
Ooh, got it just in time. That's right. Give us a call, 520-838-4430. I don't know where my brain's going. And I'm like, ugh. Just call us. Come down, 6224 East Speedway Boulevard. Beautiful place. That's what everybody says. It's really pretty here. They really like it. It's groovy. And if you don't want to come in, don't. That's fine with us. We have a telemedicine section. Just fill out that form. Super simple, piece of cake. And we'll get you in. We'll get you an appointment to telepathically see the doctor. Just kidding. You'll see him on screen on your little link with your little Google program. It's Google Meets, right? Yeah, Google Meets. All right, so there you have it, folks. www.tumbleweedshealthcenter. All right. Oh yeah, we're gonna get Dawn Flanagan from Cool Blue Distributions wants to come on the radio show, so we're gonna have Dawn on and chat about this whole hemp situation, find out what the heck is happening. But in the meantime, we're gonna cruise on over and just for fun, we're gonna get a little advice on how to grow better weed. Yay for growing better weed. I think this is it. Oh no, that's the migraine one. That's fine. Oh yeah, how to get more pounds per light out of your grow. Oh, this is the intro. Well, what's the next step? Oh no. Let's see. View the chapter. Oh, okay. Here we go. All right. I think we should go right to the strain because, well, the intro's. Oh, the intro's only 9 minutes, so we'll see. Maybe we'll just do this weekly.
Today, we're going to be talking about how to get more pounds
This
per
is not
light
me,
out of
obviously.
your grow. Before we do, this video is brought to you by Real Growers Grow Dots. The easiest way to feed your plants, you mix
This
grow
sounds
dots
cool.
in once at the beginning of your grow, and they feed all the way to harvest. You don't have to worry about nutrient burn or nutrient lockout. Let grow dots do all the hard work for you. Find out more about realgrowers.com, and come on, let's get into it. I see you ready?
I am ready, man. So this is one of the favorites, the fan
Like Dippin'
favorites. They
Dots.
love it when we talk about grow lights, and you told me that
Or weed.
there used to be a book.
3 per light, man.
Yeah, what's
3
up
per
with that?
light. That was that was the holy grail back, actually 2 pounds per light was the holy grail back in the day, but 3 pounds per light. These guys, we're talking about 1,000-watt lights, or per 1,000 watts. But there was all these, it was like a whole book where there's different training methods and all sorts of different tricks. But it has changed with LED lights because most people don't use 1,000-watt LED light. It's got more into grams per watt now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But today we're going to be talking about per light in your grow, how to get the most harvest.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about weight, man. I'm just going to show you how to add some weight. There's a few really important factors when it comes to adding weight to your harvest, and let's get into it.
Okay, so number one, the first thing that I should consider when trying to get the most harvest per light in my grow is
strain dependent, brah. But it's true, man. There's hundreds or thousands of different types of cannabis. Some are these little sparse popcorny buds that grow in South Africa. Some are these dense, bushes that grow in the Kush Mountains of India or Afghanistan. But so it really is important what strain. If you're looking to yield, you need to find a heavy yielding strain. I remember skunk number 1 going way back in the day. Gorilla Glue was an awesome one. Blue Dream. These are big, heavy yielders, and that's why they're famous. But like I said, those are old school strains that I know about from back in the day. There's so many new strains out there, super heavy yielders. I would love to know in the comments. Let me know what the new heavy hitters are in the comments, if you would, please.
Okay, so number 1, start with your strain. What about number 2?
Number 2 is plant count. And this is one where I think I can really help with this because you can spend a lot of time growing a giant bush, just a giant plant. And, when you spend 2.5, possibly even, 10, 12 weeks to veg that thing up, and then you flower it where it takes another 10 weeks, that's a long time to grow one big plant, so it's, what is that? That's 20 weeks right there. Yeah, 4 months. That's a long time for a plant to sit in your grower. You're only going to get 3
5 months,
harvests per
folks.
year.
Do the math.
Right?
5 months.
Right, 3 harvests of one big plant,
4 weeks
which
in a month.
might have a lot each time,
Right.
but it's still only 3
20
harvests.
weeks.
And let's be straight about one big plant. One big
5
plant is
months.
going to have a lot of inside buds. It's going to have a lot of bottom buds that don't get all that light penetration. So one big plant is going to give you a lot of nice buds, but a lot of B and C buds as well. So
you get a lot of those popcorn buds you were talking about.
yeah, and
So
that's not what I'm going for.
So you prefer to, in the same space, you can get 4 shorter, faster vegging plants in
Yeah.
that same space.
Yeah, 4 plants, 5 plants. I know people that do up to 6 plants in that same space. And yeah, they're getting these. First off, it doesn't take very long to veg them. Say that you're vegging in another spot and you're bringing in, or you have solo cups ready to go. If you have something that's this big in a solo cup and you put it in a 3-gallon or a 5-gallon container, it's going to take 3-4 weeks until it's ready to flower. So you just save 2 months on veg.
Well, I'm thinking too, if you're like me and you've only got one grow tent,
Sure.
you have to veg and bloom in the same tent. I get to either veg a giant plant for, like you said, weeks and weeks.
Right.
Or I can veg 4 small plants in half that time and they're ready to flip. And that means more harvest per year. So
yeah, significantly more harvest. If you're spending 3 months to veg instead of 1 month to veg, you get a couple more harvests each year out of that grow.
And if I'm growing 4 small plants versus 1 big plant, I might get the same amount out of each way, but again, 3 harvests per year versus 5 harvests per year.
Yes, and more
2
tops.
harvests.
I mean, we can also consider that. I don't know if I'm jumping the gun or
Do
not,
your math.
but you get to, if you have smaller plants, you get to keep your light closer to the canopy. You're getting better penetration. That light can only penetrate so far. So if you're asking it to penetrate from 4 foot down, good luck into a dense canopy. But if you've got this 18-inch or 24-inch canopy, it's able to penetrate much better. So you get much better quality buds on the bottom.
Real quick, back to genetics when we're talking about plant count. If I'm growing if my goal is 4 small plants versus 1 large plant,
Sure.
Does genetics play a role in that as well?
Definitely. You don't want to get yourself some big lanky sativa at that point. You'd like to look and make sure you're getting yourself something that is a short and squat plant, probably indica dominant, but with all the hybrids, just look for something and it'll be described as a short squat plant, not stretchy.
Okay, and so the next one, we got start with your strain, plant count, and what's the third tip for getting the most out of your lights?
This one I love, man. It's CO2. CO2 is one of the easiest things to add to a grow, or at least it's one of the most noticeable things when you add it to a grow. Sometimes it's not super easy if you're not in a sealed environment and whatnot, but if you can figure out how to add CO2 to your grow, if you are serious about weight, this is a huge factor. Genetics is huge, but CO2 is the carbon is the building block of your plant. So by taking that carbon and having the light fix it, turning it into plant material, it's photosynthesis. The more photosynthesis, the more plant material we're going to build. So we need that carbon.
And you were saying you used to get jealous. You had your PPFD at about 600 and you would get jealous of the guys that could hit 1,000.
That's lights, yeah. So PPFD is the amount of light you have, and light sounds, it sounds very sexy. The more light, the bigger the buds I'm going to get. For me, dialing the lights up to, I think I got mine at right 600 PPFD right now. It's kind of practical. I'd hear about guys dialing up to 800, 1,000, 1,200, and I'd kind of get a little bit envious of that. What I found out, or when I started doing the checking the science, what happens is the light energy, the PPFD is your light energy. That's what it takes to grab that carbon, that CO2 from the air and fix it and then turn it into plant material, photosynthesize it, light building, so the light's building out of the carbon, out of the CO2. You can have as much light as you want, but if there's nothing for it to grab and build with, it's a waste of energy. That happens at very low light levels. So at 600 ppfd, by the way, I get great results at 600 ppfd. And so I was scratching my head wondering, what else I can do. Well, my 600 ppfd, I use a ton of CO2. I have a CO2 burner. I just crank it up. So I'm at 1,400, 1,500 ppm, parts per million of CO2. CO2 is measured in parts per million. Light is measured in ppf.
So you were showing me a chart and it was showing that if you had 600 ppfd, 600 for the light,
yeah,
and then 600 parts per million of CO2, if you only increased one, you doubled the light, you didn't see much difference. But if you only doubled the CO2, there was a huge difference on how much plant photosynthesis could take place.
Huge difference, man. At 400, or I'll go with that 600 ppfd of light, there's enough energy to grab a lot of carbon out of the air. It'll grab all the carbon it can once it runs out.
it runs out. So when you add more carbon, even to that 600 ppmd of light, there is a ton of benefit. You can get up to like in the 70s, the mid 70% of potential photosynthetic activity. And you go down from like the 40s to the 70s just by adding more CO2.
So the main takeaway is to get the most out of your light, you don't have to crank the light up to 1,000 ppfd. Just crank up the CO2, and that'll help you get the most out of the light, even if the light is only at 600 ppfd.
Yep, the light's the energy to metabolize the food, to grab the food out of the air, the CO2 food out of the air, and fix it into plant material. But those are my 3 tips for getting the most out of each light from your grow. Well, what about you? Don't be stingy. I know you got some good tips over there. Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, smash that.
All right, smash it. Just freaking smash it. We'll get to the next one. It's 8:21. Let's try it. Let's see what's going on. Here we go. Next in the series. Oh, no, that was it. All right. Well, there you have it. I mean, there are a few tips. The CO2 thing scares the crap out of me. I'm not going to lie. I have a CO2 tank in my closet, and I prefer it's where it stays. Because I was told if you tip that thing over and it has CO2 in it, it'll burst and it'll go through walls. It shoots out like a tornado, and it's got the power to bust through the brick walls. So I'm like, and Silver Sister's over here going, yeah, it really does. So I don't like that. Oh, she's calling me a sissy. Yeah, we're going to use that word instead. But that's scary. That's really scary to me. Quit crying. Quit crying. Just use it. But it really does make a difference. The CO2. But you can, like he said, and this is what Ed Rosenthal said. He's like, your plants look great, but you're wasting your light. You have too many lights, too much light. So I'm going to try just one. It's a 300 watt ceramic metal halide because I grow the autoflowers and they don't need to go all the way. They don't need to get tricked into 1212 and go through that whole process. They are done from seed to finish in 90 days. They're done. They're just bam, done. And it's awesome. And then on top of that, I have how many watts is my black light? It's quite a bit. It's 7,000. No, yeah. So she's just pulling crap out of her. And she's guessing. Sounds good. She's guessing. But that one's a high one. So I got to figure out and see if I even need that. But 300 watts. We'll see what happens. I'm going to do a little experiment and grow 2 plants under that and see what. See, I don't know. That's a good question. I got a whole book right here. You should be looking through it to see which ones I should grow. So we'll check that out on the break. I'm going to find out how many watts the LED is because it's probably a lot of watts. But you got to have a very clean room. Try to keep the bugs out. I have a door that leads outside, and it's got very big gaps in the door. So I'm going to tape those up this time around because I get bugs that come through there all the time. And once the plants are in there, once I got my soil, soil and everything ready, tape it up. I'm going to tape it up. And then, like I said, they're done in 90 days. I mean, 60 to 90 days. That's darn quick. And they grow fast and they grow big. A fan. So this time around, this is what I did. I just saw this recently, and I don't know why I never even looked at this before, but you can take your regular bulb out of your ceiling, and now they have bulbs that you attach, but they also have a ceiling fan attached to it. So you just plug it in like a regular light bulb, and it's a ceiling fan. So you don't have to go through the whole rewiring of everything to have a ceiling fan. I know you could put it in. You need to put one in my kitchen. Anyway, I did have one actually. I had the one I took out of the bedroom. but it got all jacked up in the garage somehow. So I think we got rid of it. All right. So, yeah, growing is a lot of fun, but you have to be super attentive. And if you get a pest, it's hard to get soil that's been stored outside because, they come from a warehouse, but bugs are attracted to soil no matter what. So you're, hopefully you don't bring bugs in. Like this is the first time, but I just ordered Happy Frog and Ocean Forest online. It's the first time I think. No, I've done it before. I think I did it when we were in New York. I think that's what happened. Did we go to a hydroponic shop in New York? We did, didn't we? Yeah. Where that was down by yeah. What was a really cool part of Buffalo? What was that avenue? Huh? Elmwood. No, I don't think so either. All right. Anyway, growing is a lot of fun. It's very rewarding. You get a reward at the end of it all. You get a reward. And if you find the right environment, I was just thinking about because I've been growing technically for like 15 years, but I've been on hiatus for the last year. I think one of the best environments that ever there was when Creepy Tink was growing in the basement. Like it was cool, very dark. The roots stayed really nice and cool down there when it wasn't, when the lights weren't on, and there was good airflow with the windows that were open down there. They had some good air coming in, and I think they were happy. It was a really weird situation. They were very happy, and that's when they grew very tall. But they were very sparkly. Yeah. It was very good. I called it Creepy Tink. It was actually, was it Autoberry? Was that the original?
Yeah.
The original was Autoberry? Yeah. I only have 3 of my original Autoberry seeds left. And the company that I got the Autoberry seeds from shut down. Yeah. They went out of business. Not good. Oh, there goes a kitty. Yeah, it's been a hot minute, so I don't know if maybe they didn't have the foot traffic, if they were, because I tried to look up online what happened. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they got busted for something else. Or maybe they just got flipping tired. Somebody I know is tired. I'm not saying Silver Sister's ready to run for the border. Any border she can find. Doesn't matter. No? Can't. Oh, she's going to Canada. A. All right. Well, you know where we're going. We're going here.
I'm gonna smoke some weed. I got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunting, looking for a watch out. This is fucking awesome.
Walk into my house like, what up? I got some good pop. I'm just pumped up, got some herb from the pop shop. Ice in the fridge, it used to be frosty. My friends like, damn, that's a stone ass donkey. Rolling in hell, looking like it's FIFA time. Dominating all my friends as I eat some chili fries. Draped in the snuggie with my girl sitting next to me. Probably shouldn't have had a big gulp full of iced tea. But But shit, it was 99 cents. I'll be blazing and smoking, about to go and get some munchies next. Passing up on those bucket checks, Reese's Pieces of where it's. I gotta get some soda. My cotton mouth has been creeping up, but can't remember where I put my keys. Yeah, that's what's up. I'ma take your grandpa's ride. No, for real. Ask your grandpa, can I take a 65? To Bill cruising to my local Publix. Nothing better than rolling with two super fly chicks. They have frozen burritos. I bought frozen burritos. I bought some Ben and Jerry's, and then I bought some Cheetos. Hello, my main man Obama. A couple states have just reformed their laws on marijuana. What you gonna do? Send the feds there? Hell no. The DBAs will be like, they got volcano.
I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunting, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome. I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunting, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome.
What you know about the science of marijuana? What you know about people suffering from glaucoma? They need it. It helps them with their condition. If you don't believe me, then just ask some eye physicians. Thank your granddad for voting for that guy. Richard Nixon is the president who made the plant illegal. But science is now showing that it's medicine for people, and the private sector's fighting to keep all of that illegal. Alcohol and tobacco, pharmaceutical prisons. I'll take those 4 major lobby groups and fight those motherfuckers. They're making money day and night, all those motherfuckers. And private commerce out of sight, all those motherfuckers. They'd be like, oh, it's immoral and unhealthy. I'm like, how many people are you making wealth? Anti-marijuana lobbies are making all kinds of profits, and they don't want you to swing shit. I call that getting tricked by the government. That law's hella old, so it's time to update it, regulate it, and then get it under state control. Peak game, look into my political telescope. Think it's gonna stay like this forever? Not hella won't. Hey, Obama, stop being a hypocrite. You used to smoke weed, fool.
I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome. Let's end the war on drugs. It's time to pull the plug. These special interest groups are nothing more than corporate clubs. Let's end the war on weed. The people have agreed. These special interest groups have kept these corporate rivalries. I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunter, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome.
All right. Welcome back to Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. It is a little out of control in there. It really is. Yeah, I have what's called the Western room, and there's a lot of Western stuff in there. A lot. All right. Welcome back to Weedsday Wednesday. How's everybody doing? It's a beautiful 84 degrees, and it's pretty darn sunny in Tucson. I think we've had our rain. I don't know that we're supposed to get rain for a while. Maybe I'm wrong, but we had some good rain. What are the Tucson? Oh, Friday. Ooh, Friday and Saturday in the park. All right, Friday and Saturday. We're supposed to have rain. Thank you. Because the kitties will go in there, and they get in there. The kitties get in there, and they're looking around and like, ooh, what do we do? There's so much to do in there. They're just like, God, what should we do? Nothing. Get the hell out. That's what you should do. All right. I found a video on cannabis for treating migraines and cluster diseases. So cluster, when it happens. Yeah, you're a cluster. All right. Here we go. Not my video, just throwing that out there. Dr. Shivang Joshi.
Welcome to Shades of Migraine, a podcast series created by the Association of Migraine Disorders. We hope you'll enjoy listening to a wide variety of voices, including the perspectives of people living with migraine and those that are trying to help. Each will share their unique shade of migraine. Teva is committed to the goal of transforming the lives of those suffering from migraine by creating solutions to reinvent the migraine paradigm by placing people at the center of everything they do. You can visit www.moretomigraine.com for tools and resources for living with migraine. In this episode, Dr. Shivang Joshi from the Dent Neurologic Institute gives us scientific and practical information about the use of cannabis or marijuana for treating migraine. Originally geared towards physicians, this 20-minute presentation is chock full of information helpful for anyone using or contemplating using cannabinoids to treat their migraine disease or chronic pain.
Thank you, Rick, for inviting me here. It's been a pleasure to be part of this organization. It's my second time participating. And, today I'm going to talk about a topic that's fun, but yet it's also a little controversial. I grew up in the 80s, so I was thinking about giving the title Hope with Dope, but then I thought about stigma and decided to keep it to just cannabinoids.
That was a good one.
Today I'm going to talk about terminology, I'm going to talk about pharmacology, I'm going to talk about pathogenesis, I'm going to talk about some clinical research, and as well, in particular, Rick asked me to talk about clinician expectations and also patient expectations. And I'm going to briefly mention some cutting edge research that we're doing at Dent, which has a large practice to begin with, but we also are involved in medical marijuana or cannabis. So basic terminology, marijuana is frequently thought of to be a synonym for cannabis, but it's not. The terms are different. Cannabis is the botanical term for the hemp plant that contains cannabis sativa. Cannabis sativa is different from cannabis indica. The cannabis sativa is a tall, laxly branched with long and narrow leaves. There's a picture of it there on the bottom right corner. This provides more of the high feeling, the energetic buzz feeling, it's uplifting feeling. The ratio of THC to CBD has more of a THC component versus CBD. I'm going to explain those molecules in a second. And recreational users typically seek this strain to get more of the high feeling. Cannabis indica comes from India. It was found there in the Hindu Kush mountain range as well. These are short, conical, dense branches with broad leaves. Provides more of a stoned feeling, and people also use it for sedation, pain relief, and anxiety benefits as well. There's a slightly different THC to CBD ratio, and typically medical users prefer this strain over the other one. In terms of history, it's been around for thousands of years. It's actually even mentioned in the Ebers Papyrus with some use for pain-related disorders. But one of the earliest known use has been found in China, and plant stems were used for ropes and linen. Flower seeds, especially the resin, can be sort of extracted to give psychoactive chemical properties termed cannabinoids. So different types of cannabinoids. Endocannabinoids are endogenous. These are lipid-based neurotransmitters. One of the first discovered was anandamide. I'm going to mention that a little bit later when we talk about pathogenesis. Phytocannabinoids, these are the ones listed here. These come from more of a natural base. And then synthetic cannabinoids, these are FDA approved. So these two in particular are FDA approved for the treatment of nausea and severe nausea associated with cancer-related pains. These synthetic cannabinoids that are FDA approved have more of a regulation in terms of the actual compound itself versus the synthetic cannabinoids that are out on the street. These are manufactured by chemists and their chemical structure has changed. There have been some warnings associated with that, which I'm going to touch on a little bit later on. So there are synthetic cannabinoids that are approved by FDA, and then there are other ones that people buy online, and their structure is actually modified. They're not coming from natural plants. So just to know some of that terminology. In terms of the pharmacology, was first identified in 1964 by Mecklem, and by smoke. In one cigarette or joint, you can contain about 0.5 to 1 gram of cannabis. Only about 20% is absorbed in the lungs. It's rapidly metabolized in the liver. You can also have, because of its solubility, you can have accumulation in fat taking place. That's why you can even detect it in the urine 2 weeks down the line as well. Oral consumption can produce a prolonged but poor absorption. So some people who may try something orally and don't feel the effect will keep eating, and then later on they just are completely wiped out because of the delayed effect. More on pharmacology. So there's several primary cannabinoids from cannabis. So cannabidiol, which is CBD, and tetrahydrocannabinol. So THC has more of the psychoactive property. CBN is about 1/10 of the psychoactive property as THC, and CBD has no real psychoactive property. Adverse effects of marijuana. So on the left, you can see some of the short-term effects, which include memory impairment, motor coordination, altered judgment, motor vehicle accidents, sometimes even psychosis and paranoia. On the right side, it's somewhat controversial. It's debatable. So I'm not going to really delve too much into that. That area is still controversial in terms of long-term effects of heavy use. Who uses marijuana? There are people who use it for recreational. They also use it for medical reasons, and some use it for both as well. Now, what's in marijuana? Marijuana contains hundreds and maybe more different cannabinoids. So here's a breakdown of several different cannabinoids. CBD, focusing on that in particular, has several different properties. Antibacterial, inhibits cancer cell growth, neuroprotective benefits, promotes bone growth, reduces sugar levels, all these other ones that are listed here that you can see. Where are the CB1 receptors? There are several different parts of the brain. So it's the medulla, which is involved, which has a chemoreceptor trigger zone, the cerebellum, the basal ganglia, cerebral cortex, the hypothalamus, and the hippocampus, as well as the spinal cord. Now, I like this article. It was published in the Green Journal. It's not that Green Journal. It's a different Green Journal. And I like this because it really talks about pathogenesis. And right now we know a lot about migraine pathogenesis, and we know because of the newest information on neuroinflammation. So it's really interesting is if you look at the research that's already existing out there with cannabinoids and where it potentially affects the receptors, there's a parallel between migraine pathophysiology as well too. For example, systemic effects. There are variants in the CNR1 gene, which encodes for cannabinoid 1 receptor, which results in decreased expression of CB1 associated with migraines and the trigeminal vascular activation. We know that the trigeminal vascular system and the trigeminal cervical complex all play a big role in migraine pathogenesis. You have peripheral and central activation of those two. There's been some research on people who have deficiency in endocannabinoids, and particularly anandamide, and possibly there's a relationship between that and the pathogenesis of migraines too. That's still an area that needs further research as well. If you take a look at the cortex, you have CB1 agonists that suppress glutamate neurotransmission by inhibiting NMDA receptors. You also have CB1 receptors that suppress cortical spreading depression, which is a precursor for migraines. In the vasculature, you can see that there's some effect on blood vessels and effect on blood vessel dilation induced by CGRP, as well as capsaicin and nitric oxide. In addition, you have anandamide that is an agonist or activates TRPV1, which is involved in also trigeminal vascular activation. TRPV1 is another area of future study. It's actually being currently studied, a potential target for future migraine treatments. So it's exciting to see that cannabinoid research actually parallels some of this as well. There's some effect on platelets as well, and in relation to platelets, there's some research with hydroxytryptamine or 5-HT receptor and migraines. In the brainstem, so we know that there's peripheral activation, there's also central activation of migraines, which involves ascending pathways that go through the periaqueductal gray, the thalamus, the cortex, and there's descending pathways that go down as well too. And persistent activation of these pathways lead to something called allodynia, which was, I think, mentioned earlier in some of the rat models. So what's been shown is that CB1 receptor actually is involved with activation of the periaqueductal cortex too, or have genetically may have that. Results in increased glutamate signaling, which may lead to cortical spreading depression, as a potential oral migraine trigger. And basically what I just said is summarized in this diagram here. Now, why is it difficult to do research? Because it's still listed as a Schedule 1 drug, including some of those other agents. I know Dr. Goschalk back there is doing some research, and he might be able to provide some insight. Just one with LSD, I believe. So he might be able to elaborate how difficult it is to do something like that. So it's not an easy process. So that's one of the challenges to doing research on cannabis or cannabinoids, is because of the scheduled nature of it. Other research includes, the current research includes that most of the trials in the US are retrospective studies. So these are, there are no prospective trials where we actually give patients medication and follow them through. But there are some European ones, which I'm going to highlight just one quick abstract on. Most of the ones that are existing right now are very short, not enough patients, and a lot of confounding factors in those studies, which include tobacco use and comorbid illness as well. So I practice in New York State. So right now, the approved uses for medical cannabis is cancer and all these other ones that are listed. The newest one that was just added not too long ago is PTSD. So I actually looked up Rhode Island, and Rhode Island has a very similar approval for these disorders as well. Recently, Rhode Island had a Department of Health Center advisory, and this was through other states as well. And this had in particular due to the synthetic cannabinoids. These are produced, you can buy these online, and what some of these people that it was affecting vitamin K. So just to be aware of issues with synthetic cannabinoids that you can buy online. There are also legal issues, and these vary by states. I would encourage you to look up things in your own state. You can't travel out of your state for the most part. You can't drive with it. There's risk of DUI. Laws allow federal employees to fire for positive drug tests, whereas there may be some protection with state employees as well. And it cannot be used in certain institutions such as group homes, nursing homes, or hospitals. So what I mentioned before, some of the limitations of retrospective clinical trials is that there's limited data from that we can use. So I found something, a recent meeting that took place in Amsterdam, and it was some German research which has a little bit more liberal rules in terms of research. It was a prospective study, a small study where they took some migraine patients and cluster patients, and initially gave them THC, one group, and another group had CBD only. They found that it required higher doses and resulted in about 55% improvement in overall frequency and severity. The second phase, they gave the migraine patients amitriptyline and also THC CBD combination, and they found an improvement as well. What's interesting about this is that in the cluster headache patients, the only patients that improved were the ones that had some background history of migraines as a child as well. So this is a very limited study, and I only have this in the abstract form. It's just to highlight that a prospective trial is more, it gives us more data than a retrospective trial. So just to comment about what's going on at Dent, the cannabis clinic, these are the number of patients that we've seen so far in a year or a year and a half period. Majority of the patients are being treated for chronic pain. 69%, approximately about 30 to 40% of those, about 30% of those are chronic migraine patients. This data is from Dr. McVig, who's one of the leading researchers on concussion, and she actually has one of the largest population of concussion patients, about 800 in one particular study that she's undergoing right now. So in a subset of one of her studies, she's actually studying in about 149 individuals with chronic pain who were certified for medical cannabis, and they were given concussion-related diagnosis of post-concussive syndrome. She was using 5 sort of pillars as a treatment modality. So these were mood, sleep, headache, dizziness, and concentration issues. And what she found was that there were 3 of these had more significant improvement over a period of time with medical cannabis use versus not. And there was an 80% improvement in mood, and 78% with sleep, and 76% with headache. So and that's one of the findings. The second important finding in this particular study, so this study is published in the abstract form, and it's in a journal, and further analysis of the study are being done right now. This is not showing this clearly, but it's showing you that there was an improvement in quality of life. Pre-medical cannabis use was 27%. Post-medical cannabis use, it was 43%. So there's an improvement. It was statistically significant. There's further analyses being done with this particular study. So stay tuned. In fact, she's actually presenting this at the American Academy of Neurology concussion meeting that's taking place later on. Another finding from this study was the optimal dosing was a byproduct, a combination of THC to CBD, a 1-to-1 ratio, with a combination of a tincture dosed 3 times per day. And the inhalation component was a 20-to-1 ratio as a vapor pen. And this is more used as an immediate relief, which is not used all the time, but just more of a breakthrough decrease over time. The last finding of this particular study was 14% of the patients reported side effects. All were minimal, and 70% were related to administration route, dry mouth, or cough. So this was fairly tolerated.
It would be nice to know what side effects they experienced. He said all were minimal. But the thing is, the side effects of using cannabis, the plant, or hemp, is that you're not going to die from it, first of all. And the side effects are sometimes things that they want, like sleep or the ability to eat or whatnot. But it's not anything bad for you, like it is with all the chemical side effects.
So
Just
how do you
saying.
go about doing this? I mean,
Not saying.
not too many places have a cannabis clinic. First, you have to contact your physician. They have to be certified. They have to certify you. And then you get registered. You apply for a card. You get a registration. Then you go to a dispensary to purchase your product. So what are some provider expectations? So maintenance of CBD products takes about 2 weeks of regular use before patients can start to notice any relief of symptoms. The change in cannabis ratios should be done in 2 to 3 month intervals, increments. Cannabis is dose dependent and cost prohibitive, so it does cost more the more you use. So, patients are, they want to minimize use and at least and get the most bang for their buck as well too. So they might adjust some of their dosing on their own. Taste of tinctures may restrict use as well too. The vaporization is contraindicated for COPD and asthma. Some drug interactions to be concerned about. So opioids, you may need to decrease the opioid dose as well too. One thing to know is that some of these patients that are coming in with you, you may not feel comfortable giving them medical cannabis if they're on a high dose of opioids. So you have to coordinate with pain management to help them titrate down their dose. Now, if you feel comfortable doing that, you can do that. But I think most clinicians feel more comfortable with whoever's originally prescribing them to lower their dose. There's a lot of active research going on now with the use of medical cannabis and getting people off of opioids. So that's another area of study, and there's a big need for that as well too. So stay tuned for that research to come out as well. You may need to decrease the anxiolytic dose as well too. Tricyclic antidepressants, they have sedative effects. Monitor increased side effects of SSRIs. Antiretrovirals, there may be enzyme inhibition or inducing effects related to that. And seizure meds as well may need to be adjusted due to the pharmacodynamic related changes. Now, establishing patient expectations. So this depends on the amount of prophylactic products the patients are going to use and their ability to afford their products. A lot of the patients that we're seeing are not able to afford some of the products at the dispensaries at the rate right now. So that's one of the limitations. So what some of them wind up doing is they get approved, they wind up using or smoking marijuana. So that's something to be aware of as well too. Patients may have some reduction in migraine-associated symptoms, but this may take time. CBD maintenance, so it does reduce muscle pain, anxiety, improve sleep. The increase in tincture dose must be done slowly to prevent any adverse effects such as dizziness and drowsiness. It can take about 2 weeks to develop any kind of consistent use of CBD to notice any positive effects. Once again, THC provides more immediate pain relief, and this is more done in form of a vape form as well too. So this is going to be important. They can't take this to work. They can't drive within 6 hours after use. It will create a high, and it may worsen anxiety or paranoia. Just a few more slides. I don't know how we are on time. Okay. So, all right. So there's improvement that takes over time. You need to set these realistic expectations for these patients. This I got from the Rhode Island Department of Health, just to show you what people are doing in Rhode Island. So this is the data from 2016 to 17. There's about 4,500 patients that are being treated for chronic pain. And those are some of the other indications. And who's writing this in Rhode Island? Majority are internal medicine, family medicine, and not so much neurology. Further research needs to be done. I want to thank Dr. Laszlo Metzler, who's leading the campaign at Dent. Dr. McVeigh, who's providing some of the research data on the concussion, and Cheryl Line, who's a nurse practitioner, who's very much involved with patient and clinician expectations. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for that. That was just one doctor's point of view, but he had it wrong in the sense that pain relief with cannabis and or hemp, CBD, whatever you're on, should be pretty immediately. You should get pretty immediate effects. If you're not, then you should talk to somebody about it and find out maybe how to adjust it. But because it doesn't take 2 weeks to get into your system before you start feeling anything. That's pretty ridiculous. I'm not so sure how educated he was. So, well, that was just one person's opinion. So we say thanks for your opinion. All right. Oh no. More than one ingestion is using the primary URL. Send one stream to the primary. I have no idea what this means. I wonder if you can even hear me. Can you hear me now? You can hear it? Well, no, because you're on your thing. All right, now. Well, that's all right. It's the end of the show anyway. Of course, it's going to mess up. It doesn't. Oh, yeah, it does. Okay, it's showing that showing my levels of my vocals. So my vocal levels. So we're going to go with that. But we're also just going to go with this. And since it, I don't know what it's doing. Thank you for tuning in to Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. We appreciate you being here more than you know. Horn clapping. Who knows why? We don't know why. All right, Weedsday Wednesday, September 24th. Only 92 days until Christmas. 93 until it's over. We got 92 days. It's over, sister. 92 days. 91. Early this year. Come on. Every year. Chop, chop. Stocks. Get the books. Get the movies. Get the games. What are your big ticket items this year? Do we know? We don't know yet. 92 days. That's 3 months. You better know your big ticket items. All right. Thanks for tuning in to Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. We love you. Be smart, be safe, and educate.
If you
Nope.